Hi, this is a project for course OOAD. My name is Harsha and I'm going to present you the project that I have chosen and coded. It is called TestHarness. For this project I have chosen C#.NET as a language and OOPS concept like classes, objects, inheritance, extra are used. Let me start by briefing describe what TestHarness is. Um, Basically, a test harness is an application that is used for testing of medium and large software projects. It is collection of software and test data configured to a program unit by running it under various conditions and monitor its behavior and output. It is also called automated test framework. A test harness should be user friendly and able to load various tests in form of DLL. It provides a developer facility to test his code before it is launched in market. So there are many issues that need to be considered before building up of this application. Other than a developer, it can be used by program manager, quality assurance, test group, customer, and architecture. So the first time when I thought about the project, I thought of making a GUI which I would use to enter input and expected output. But due to time constraint, I have implemented test harness using just console screen. However, my code is scalable. We can see output on console, memory logger, in a file and as a GUI screen. Let's discuss briefly how an ideal test harness would work and what I thought to do initially. When the user open up the application, it pops up a graphical user interface in form of a window application form. This is done by invoking the tester module that use the service of test module. Then the user goes to file, new and create a new project followed by loading of the code being tested. This is done by plugging in the application specific test driver. After that, DLL loaders load the required test to be performed on the given code. Then the application specific test driver convert the required input file into an XML format which is used by test module, and then when the testing is done and the result are obtained in the form of form of pass or fail, which test pass the code being tested and which failed using the bool function. After running the test driver on it, the result are stored by memory handler module through the logger module. Again, I have not yet developed GUI, so for now I would present test harness using in console screen. Let me go through what I have been actually able to implement in the code. Following are the classes that I have implemented. Tester class. Tester class has the main function of the test harness. This class provides the operations to load the dynamic link libraries using the service of DLL loader. Only those dynamic link libraries would be loaded by the tester which are supported by the iTest interface. Then using the test module, it runs the test on the software product. If some tests are dependent on each other, then it takes help of memory logger to store the intermediate result fruitful to the next test being performed on the software. Test class provide operation to create a child application domain, load libraries into it, and run test on all loaded libraries and that support the iTest interface. In order to load libraries without requiring the tester to bind to the types they declare, a loader library is defined that is loaded into the child domain and loads each of the test libraries from within the child. Test configuration are defined by the set of libraries found in configuration directory. Each configuration run on its own thread. Test results are returned as a private XML string. Let me walk through each function of this class. First tester.exe is executed using run.bat, and run.bat has tester.exe path and test libraries path which has all the DLLs. After test.exe is executed, main function is called and path to test libraries is passed as a argument to the main function. Then we pass the path of select config and run function, in which path to test libraries which is data member of test class is set, and run test function is called. In run test function we call two more functions called create app domain and load and run. Basically create app domain gets and sets the name of full path to DLL files and creates app domain in which to run the test as I described before. In load and run function we create an instance of loader class and use services of loader class to load the test and run the test. We can look at loader class to see how this is done, and results are then passed into the results variable. And then show test result is called from tester. Since results are stored in XML in form of true and false, we deduce if result is true the test passes, and if result is false the test fails. The whole report would be printed on console while we run the test. Finally, test domain is unloaded in the tester. And now let me walk you through each class of test harness. First is loader class, and loader class loads test library into test application domain. It has following as member function like load test, set path, run test, in which test results are saved in form of XML file and results are extracted in tester class as we have already seen. Loader class has this data member path to test libs, ID and ret. ITest class, then ITest class provide the ITest interface. Let me show you. Yeah, it's provide ITest interface declaring bool test. Nothing is being done but just providing interface. Similarly, ITest vector generator class provide interface for the test vector generator that provide input to the application specific test driver. And iLogger class is interface for the logger. This is a contract for all the loggers to be implemented in the test harness. Various loggers are memory logger, console logger and file logger class. Memory logger class, basically memory logger class for the test harness write the message to memory in bytes. Write function in it writes the message to the memory stream and reads back and print it in the console. And console logger class for the test harness write the messages to the console. Client code class, which is spelling checker class. This is a client code being tested by test harness. It checks spelling of words in a dictionary. So only uppercase letters are verified by it. Otherwise the result will be incorrect spelling. The dictionary in it can be updated, extended to any number words of which spelling is to be checked. User can only check the spelling of the words present in the dictionary. The check spelling function takes the word present in the dictionary as argument and returns output if input is correct spelling. And test vector generator class gets input from XML file and gives it to the application specific test driver which test spelling checker class. And then we have various classes called testing console logger, test file logger, testing memory logger, test vector generator. All these classes are used to check if corresponding class is working as desired. Let me show you how does the output look like when we run the test. And yeah, as you see, here we have print statement coming out from the tester class. Now the loader class load the DLL files from test libraries folder and the test run in test domain. First the spelling checker is tested. Test harness gets the data from the XML file. It checks spelling in the XML file using dictionary as a reference. We see actual output is matched the expected output, so spelling checker working fine. Similarly, console logger, file logger and memory logger is also tested. We are also testing the test vector generator code as we see data from the XML file printed as follow. And the test results are returned to the tester. Finally, all 6 test results are being printed on console like this. So we can say all the 6 tests have passed. So today we saw what test harness is. We saw how various classes interact with each other. We saw the code. We saw the working implementation of the test harness. And finally, let me show you the UML diagram and interaction between various classes. Since I have already discussed interaction between various classes, I would now explain relationship between the classes. So, test class composed of iLogger class and iTest vector generator class. And test class is also a derived class of iTest class. And tester class is composed of iTest class. iLogger class has multiple derived classes which are file logger, console logger, memory logger. And test class is base class for application specific test driver class, which is test spelling checker class in our project. And iTest vector generator class is an interface and parent class for test vector generator. So it is all about my project, test harness. Thank you so much.